The making of an entrepreneur, the making of Marcus A. Wright, the creative Wright mentality. Where did this journey start? It really started in 1971, February 10th, when I was born. When I came out, my father told me that there is something special about you and you're going to change the world. You just need to understand what you need to do. At that point, my grandparents were so nurturing. I was so blessed to have my grandparents for as long as I did. They pushed me and made me believe that I could do anything that I wanted to do. So being an entrepreneur was something that I knew that I was destined to be, because I had a message that I needed to give to the world, hence Wright mentality. I created that because you have to have the right mentality to move forward in the world. The world is very difficult. Each day we're faced with challenges that all of us have to figure out how we get through them. And for me, the fortunate thing was I had so many people, my dad, my mom, my grandparents, both on both sides of the family, pushing me through, helping me understand that I could do whatever I wanted to do. So I knew right then and there, Wright mentality was what the world needed to see. So I created it. And it's been fantastic ever since it started. Remember, it did start February 10th, 1971. And now we're in 2022, and it's just evolved. There's so many things coming your way that I can't even begin to tell you. But the Wright mentality will touch you, your team, your heart, your businesses, and everything else in the world that you're trying to do. Why? Because we help you understand that you can do anything that you want to do as long as you put your mind to it. And we show you how to do that. So as I told you about myself a little bit, where I started, February 10th, 1971. Now I want to bring you a little forward to my life, being an adolescent, right? Starting to play football, favorite sport in the world. I know a lot of people will probably laugh about this. Favorite team in the world is Cowboys. I'm a diehard Cowboys fan, right? We were on top in the 70s. We were on top in the 90s. Now we kind of, got to rebuild everything. But that's how life happens. Life happens that way. We have to continue to evolve. We have our ups and our downs. So going back to my childhood, adolescence, playing football, one of the most important things in my life for me. Oh man, let me tell you, being on the gridiron, playing with my friends, learning how to get things going. But I didn't know what was happening to me. I didn't understand that I was developing leadership qualities. I remembered my dad told me, there was something special about you. You have a mission that you have to do. And I remember my grandparents and my mom pushing that along and helping me to understand that. But it didn't click until I started playing football. And then it clicked. Something just happened. At that very moment of being on the team and then being the leader of the team, helping people on the team to understand their positions, getting them hyped up for the games, because you got to be hyped up when you get out there to play a football game. You can't be sitting back, relaxed. You have to be ready to go. So boy, when I got out there and I was telling the team what we needed to do, the coach noticed that. Mr. Evans. Mr. Evans was a great influence in my life. He said, Marcus, I think you have what it takes to lead this team. I was like, whoa. That's a big responsibility for somebody in sixth grade, because I had already went through the first 2 years. But I took the leap and became the captain of the team. And I helped my teammates understand that we can evolve as a unit, we can get better as a unit, and we can work together, and we can beat every single team that we faced. And we did. And our biggest challenge was against St. Mary's of Francis. And we were losing at halftime by 2 touchdowns. But when we went into the half to start talking, I don't know what happened. I guess the right mentality started clicking at a young age, and I started pushing. And when we came back out, we squeaked by, but we won 24-21. Leadership was when I knew right then and there that I could be the best leader, because I enjoyed myself being on the team. Hey there, we kept talking, right? I got to bring y'all back up to speed. Now, we went through 6th grade and I'm enjoying myself. But then I moved beyond that and I went to 8th grade. You know, the important part of junior high, where everything matters before you go to high school. Well, at that time in my life, I was still playing football, and let me tell you, I was enjoying everything about it. But then I also ran track. I didn't like that too much. You just did that to stay in shape at the time. But the season ended, the football season ended, and there was the banquet. And at the banquet, this was the first time that what do we call ourselves? The Pee Wee League or whatever we were at the time, I can't remember. It was a little bit ago for me. But we had our banquet. And in the banquet, I was sitting in the audience, and they named the whole team, and we all got our trophies, and we started to get ready to have dinner. But they stopped. I had no idea what was going on. My dad was there, my mom was there, my grandparents showed up, so I thought that was odd for me. Like I said, I had a great support system. But when my grandparents showed up, I didn't know what was going on. And Mr. Evans, to me, the greatest coach to ever live for a young man learning to play football, got up and he said, our sportsmanship award, the MVP of the team, the young man that was thrust into leadership to lead his team as a captain and did it with such humbleness, Marcus Wright. Now I'm looking around like, hold up, did he just say my name? But he did. And I went up and I thought it was going to be just shaking a hand and thanking Mr. Evans and sitting back down. They said, you got to give a speech. Now just imagine being a 13-year-old young man having to give a speech in front of 75 people and you have no idea what you're going to say. But I remember what my father had always told me. There was something special about you. So I gave a speech. It's probably the best speech I ever gave for a 13-year-old boy that never gave a speech. Yeah, I cried because it was so emotional. I didn't know what to say, but I knew what to say. But I didn't know what to say, but it all came out so great, and everybody loved the story. And I cried, but I walked away understanding that I had a gift that God gave to me, and I was able to speak to adults and my peers, and they respected that. Wow, right mentality was really taking off. I just didn't know what it was at the time.
Thank you so much for watching the Making of an Entrepreneur DocuSeries. I just want to take a moment to talk to you. That's right, you that's watching right now. You the mom, or maybe you're the dad, or maybe you're an entrepreneur, or perhaps you're an auntie or uncle, but you're someone out there that has a heart to give, you have a heart to serve, and as you're watching this Making of an Entrepreneur DocuSeries, you may be thinking to yourself, wait a minute, I've had some life lessons, I've had some setbacks, I've had some experiences, I've gone through some things that have helped me become a better person, and I want to take that and I want to release that to other folks. Okay. Maybe you're a speaker and you're already doing it. Maybe you've written books and you've already done that. Or maybe the story that's inside of you, the expertise that's inside of you, the message inside of you, this is the right platform for you to make a bigger difference and a bigger impact in the world. Now, this whole Making of an Entrepreneur DocuSeries, if you had to sum it up in just one word, and it's kind of hard to do that, but as I'm talking to you and you're listening right now, you might be saying, Shay, what's the one word? And the one word I would say is just legacy. legacy. There's a legacy I understand that you want to leave for your family, and I get that. But there's also a legacy of your knowledge. There's a legacy of your expertise. And think about this. You're able to share your message or share your story or share your expertise. And long after you're gone, they still have a window into the soul of who you are and the impact that leaves behind. If that's you and you someone that's want to get the information, you're someone that's ready to do something bigger than just your business and bigger than just making more money, but you want to have more meaning in the world, do me a favor. Go over to www.themakingofanontrepreneurdocuseries.com. I know that's a long email, a long address, but I want you to hear it again one more time. Themakingofanontrepreneur.com. Now, when you get there, just put your first name and your last name and your phone number and information in there. Worst case scenario, you have a meeting with the team and decide, hey, me being a cast member, this isn't a good fit, but I had a lot of fun. Best case scenario, you decide to take a step. Folks understand your backstory, understand what you've been through, and the world is much better off while you're here. And when the day comes and you decide to transition and move on, it's still doing very, very well. So with that being said, I just want to pop in. Thanks a lot for watching the Making of an Entrepreneur series. My name is Shay Brown. I want to encourage you to continue to watch, and I'll see you at the next episode. God bless.
Where did I leave off? Oh, I remember. Now I'm done with 8th grade, gave the greatest speech I've ever given in my life. I'm in high school now. Now, I was torn because I wanted to go to 2 schools. I wanted to go to the school that my big brother, my god brother, went to, which was St. Joe's. But then I also wanted to be at Proviso East because that's where my friends were. So that was the first real fork in the road, the decision to decide where I'm going to go, what I'm going to do, which school am I going to go to. So I ended up choosing St. Joe's because I wanted to be with my god brother. So when I got there, you know, I picked up right where I left off and started playing ball and just rocking it on the field. I stayed there for 2 years. It was great. And then my parents said, well, we got to transfer you to Proviso East. So I went there without a problem. It was exciting. At least I thought it was when I first got there. Because it wasn't a problem of playing for the position, challenging the other person, even though he was my best friend. It was the fact that things changed. And as much as I was able to and was taught to deal with change, that was a very difficult change for me, to transfer from one high school to another high school. I mean, it was great because the first high school was all boys, but this one was a bunch of girls in there, so I was pretty excited. You know, I get to talk to a lot of girls that I went to school with, some of the girls that I liked, but it wasn't the same for me because I felt like the leadership changed in me. The person that I was, I kind of started losing and not remembering because I didn't push myself as hard because it was different. It wasn't based on ability, it was based on politics. And I couldn't believe that in high school that politics were already hitting, as if I were already in college or in my adult life. So the struggle to get through that was difficult. It was hard. It was me trying to figure out who I was. So what happened? My armor, the Marcus A. Wright armor, started to chip away. The right mentality that I knew so dearly, so believed in so much, hearing that I could do anything and be everything, started chipping away. Challenge. How do I move to the next level? How do I deal with the decision that my parents made for me? How do I survive in this new arena for myself? I had a lot to think about. My first real challenge. Like I said, the challenge hit. It wasn't easy for me. It was difficult. The reason it was difficult was because I had to do something different. I had to really compete against my friends. I had to figure out who I was. I had to begin to understand if I could still lead. I don't know. I think something just came over me, and maybe it was fear, maybe it was confusion. I couldn't tell you. But at that time, things shifted for me. Well, as much as I love football, and most people that know me, if you don't, I'm going to tell you, I love football a lot, like a whole lot. I sit and watch football all the time and analyze it because I love it so much. But it was strange to lose the love for the game that I love so dearly. I just lost all desire to play. But then it was like, you did good enough. You had enough college letters come through. Colleges wanted to talk to you. So it was kind of exciting. You were going to these college visits. Everybody's looking at you and they're talking about, oh, you're a pretty quick running back. Let's bring you out here. Let's talk to you. I didn't want to go. I just lost all my desire. But I didn't realize what I was doing was kind of losing myself and trying to figure out who I was. So after that, fast forward a little bit, I go through, I get to college, I stay there a year, I get bored with it, didn't like it, thought about walking on, didn't play ball, just gave it all the way up. But again, right mentality was always there. Marcus A. Wright was always there. But trying to figure out how to lead seemed to have escaped me. I got lost. I got lost in the world. And it was strange to feel that way. The second challenge of my life, trying to find myself, trying to make the entrepreneur that's there. I was confused, dazed, like a punch-drunk boxer, trying to figure out what my next move would be. I thought about it, and then I thought about it again. And then I thought about it one more time. Couldn't figure it out. So I made a lot of bad decisions. A lot of them. For myself and for the son that I had on the way. It was very confusing. Like I said, confused, dazed, and I had a son. So at that point, I knew I needed to take care of him. So my focus was on being a dad at 22 years old. That's what I focused on. I did my best to be the best dad that I could be. But it was difficult because his mom and I didn't really see eye to eye. So that made things really hard. And then the armor, that's right, that Marcus A. Wright armor chipped a little bit more. And it was weird because nothing really affected me, at least so I thought. Because again, I grew up with a dad that told me I could do anything, with a mom that supported everything that I did, with grandparents on both sides of my family telling me, you have a gift, you're special, and you're supposed to do something. But man, at that time in my life, I couldn't figure out nothing. I was completely and utterly like walking through the world like, what on God's green earth is happening to me right now? And then I was dealt a blow. My grandfather passed. Man, you talk about hitting like a ton of bricks. I couldn't believe he was gone. Like, this was the guy that took me on the expressway, on the highway, to drive when I was 15 years old. This was the guy that told me, no matter what anybody says, Marcus, you can do it. In that voice, and I can still hear it to this day. This was the guy that told and taught my father how to be a dad. So I was ready to roll, but when he died, I didn't know what to do. I was confused. Like, I can't believe he's gone. And then fast forward 3 years from that, the biggest blow I've had in my life, my grandmother passed. And that was hard. That was the most trying thing that I ever dealt with, because I had to go to the hospital and I had to literally take control. Why? Because my dad was in the hospital with lupus and pancreatitis. And my uncles were fighting because they were angry because the doctors wouldn't do anything to save her. But she had her wishes, which was, I've lived long enough, I'm tired, I've educated everybody, it's time for me to roll out. You know, like Optimus Prime, transform and roll out. That's what she decided to do. So I took care of things until my dad checked himself out of the hospital and got there. And when he got there, life got easy. Decisions were easy. But you know what? When she passed, even though a part of me passed and my armor chipped a little bit more, I started to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I started to see the leadership in me coming back because I actually controlled the entire situation in a good way to make sure that my family was looking all right at this hospital. So that's what I did. I controlled the situation. I led my uncles. I told them what they needed to do, talked to my aunt, and we wrapped everything up, and we did the right thing for my grandmother. So the leadership was coming back. The right mentality was coming back. Man, I can't wait to tell you what happened next.
It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown. I just want to speak to you, the speaker, or maybe not even a speaker, right? Maybe you're not a speaker, but you have a message inside of you that you want to release, or maybe you have a story, right? A story of your life, a story in your career, or maybe as you're listening right now, you're an expert, right? You're an expert at teaching people how to do something. You're an expert at raising kids. And I want you to imagine for a moment that you had an opportunity to share your message or your story on a bigger stage. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment and what that would mean for you if you could reach your target audience. If you're an entrepreneur, if that target audience got associated to the problem that you solve, or if you're a super entrepreneur with sales funnels out there, not only did they get associated to who you were, but they were able to join your list. Now, for other folks, that won't make no sense at all. But for you, the entrepreneur, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I want to invite you over to something called the Comeback Champion Summit. And the whole purpose of the Comeback Champion Summit is really to do one thing, which is one word, and that is possibilities. That's right. When you get a chance to get on stage, you get a chance to do it virtually, and some of you maybe in person, and you get a chance to share your story. So something deep inside of you. I always say your message, because some of you have a message or your expertise. Then guess what happens? 3 things happen. Number 1, you get to make a difference. And isn't that why you are on this earth? I mean, I don't want to get emotional here, but you're really on this earth to make a difference for someone else. Something has happened to you so it can go through you to someone else. And being able to speak on a platform that provides an audience, it's like I'm the microphone that allows you to help more people faster. So that's number 1. Number 2, when you're on a platform, I'm going to invite you to the Comeback Champion Summit, you get a chance to have more meaning in the world, to have more impact, and to have more influence. And that's really who we're looking for. We're looking for folks out there who have an interest, want, or desire of serving others. So if that's you, I'm going to invite you to go over to www.comebackchampionsummit.com. Again, comebackchampionsummit.com. Click the button. It'll say apply to speak. Go through the process. And if it's a good fit, can't wait to share your story over at the Comeback Champion Summit or any one of our platforms that serves other folks. With that being said, my name, by the way, is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone, and we'll make some good things happen. We connect again real soon. See you out.
Where was I? Oh, I started getting better with leadership. Unfortunately, it was when my grandmother passed. So I thought. 2007, I lost my father. That was difficult. It knocked me off my feet. I didn't know where I was going. My wife, my daughters were all concerned because I was different. I was quiet. I was negative. I wasn't the positive, I could do anything person. The person that was born February 10th, 1971 and taught that he could do anything. I was different. And I started to realize that, but I didn't know how to change it. I didn't know how to fix it. I didn't know how to be different. So I started to get my mojo back for a minute. The right mentality started to come back in me. The Marcus A. Wright started back. 2007, my dad died. And I just floated through life. And then what happened? In 2014, November 1st, as you can see my hand, I was just rolling through life. Then my younger brother died. My life just went down in my mind. I totally felt defeated, that I couldn't do anything at all. All those days of playing football, all those days of being a leader on the team, all those days of being a captain, all those days of listening and believing that I could do anything that I wanted to do, And then my life came crashing down 4 times in a row. 97, 2000, 2007, 2014. I didn't know what was going on. All that power that I felt that I had, all that power that I was told that I had, all the abilities that I was taught that I could do, they all kind of went away because I just didn't know what was going on. I faced a challenge that I didn't know how I was going to get through it. I was confused. I was more than a dazed, drunk punch boxer. I was knocked out. You know, like Mike Tyson used to knock people out all the time. I was on the canvas. I couldn't get up. I was just out. I couldn't breathe. Food didn't taste the same. I just lost who I was. My wife tried her best to pick up the pieces. My daughters and my son tried to make me feel better, but I was just there, walking through life. The person that was told he could do anything, the making of an entrepreneur, where was he at? Looks like he was disappearing. He was fading away. I couldn't tell you. Not at that time. Not at all. Yeah, like I said last time, I was knocked out. I was down. But you know, my wife stood there. She picked me up. My daughters were there. They picked me up. My son was there. He picked me up. And I slowly started to feel like myself. Then COVID hit and changed a few more things. But during that time, my friend, my business partner, Sean Fair, called me up. He was like, dog, we've been doing this leadership experience tour for a minute. You got to get up, man. What you doing? Come on, dog, let's go. It started to feel different. I started to feel a little more like myself. I started to feel like, you know, Marcus A. Wright was coming back. I started to feel like the right mentality was coming back. I had a cheerleading squad on the right pushing me through with my family, telling me, you got this. And I started realizing there's not a challenge I can't not do. You were born for this. You were born to be Marcus A. Wright. You were born to create the right mentality. And I had a friend that God put in my life, along with my family. And Sean was there to help his friend. 25-year friendship. But he turned me around a little bit. He made me realize that I could just go on and roll through it. So you know me, if you know anything about me, I love comics. I collect them all. Thor is my favorite comic book hero on Marvel, and Batman on DC. I'm going to tell you why. There's nothing Batman can't do. He puts his mind to it. He has a contingency plan to stop every one of the Justice League members. And Thor, well, you know, he's just powerful. I'm just telling you, that's what happened. And I started waking up, and I realized I was Batman and Thor, and I was a creator of the right mentality. Now, you've been hearing that right mentality for a minute. Let me explain to you really quick what that is. The right mentality is a mantra to have courage of a lion and resilience of an eagle. Two powerful animals that roam this planet. You don't hear about too many of them in the Bible, but you do hear about those two. So God put them here for a reason. So I took them and I modeled that right mentality after that. Why? Because my father, my grandfather, my grandmother, my mother all told me there's nothing I can't do. I can do anything. So I'm telling you, the making of an entrepreneur, you're looking at them. I take names and dominate because that's what I do. And I have great friends around me. So you surround yourself with great people, like my family, all of them, and my friend Sean Fair. And I'm just going to tell you, we're about to change the world. Now I got to finish this. I have to finish this. You know, because this Marcus A. Wright, that man that started the Wright mentality. Here, let me tell you this. Going through all the things that I've gone through, having the family that I had to be behind me, man, you can't go wrong with that. So what happened? Well, I learned a little bit more about myself. I like people. So I learned how to read people, body language, microbursts, and facial expressions. I became certified in behavior. I became certified in emotional intelligence and definitely adaptability. That's right. I'm certified in all of those. Why are those things important? Well, I can tell you flat out. Even though you have a family that's there and you have a friend that's there, if you're not ready to move forward, you can't. But I can tell you what Wright mentality did. I can tell you what Marcus A. Wright did. He learned to adapt. Adapt to every change that happened to him throughout his life. He became emotionally aware. Self-awareness was the other weapon that he had. And let me tell you about this brother here. Let me tell you, nothing he can't do. Because it's been taught, told, instilled, poured into him from the time he was born that I could do anything. So the making of an entrepreneur is a man or woman that falls and gets back up. I mean, even though they fall again, they get back up. But see, the key is learning to adapt. The key is understanding self-awareness. And the most important key behind those two keys is having the right people around you. So as you're becoming that entrepreneur, you have to make a decision on the people you're going to allow be around you and in your life. Because I can tell you right now, as you're making that journey, there are some people you're just going to have to cut out. And you just got to be able to deal with that. Now, some people may have a hard time with that. But the question I have for you today is, what do you want to do for you? How do you want to succeed? You see, every day I start off with a word of the day, the Wright mentality word of today. I can tell you right now, I got one right at this very moment. Woo-hoo! Boy, let me tell you, the Wright mentality word for this segment is unstoppable. Why? Think about a lion roaming the jungle, thinking about trying to get food for his family, for the pride. He is, she is, they are unstoppable. So I'm going to ask you a question before I end this. What are you going to do so that you make sure that you're unstoppable? Because you know what? All the stuff I've been through, I done realized one thing. I'm unstoppable. There's not a force on this planet that can stop me. The making of an entrepreneur, you looking at him. I make the world go round. Why? Because I have a gift and I need to give it to the people out there. So I thank you for listening. Now you're probably wondering, why do companies want to work with Marcus A. Wright? Let me tell you. You see, when I go into a place to help some people, to help a company, I'm a problem solver. That's what I do. I'm brought in to look at the situation, to assess it, to figure out what's going on. And it is a lot of fun. It's just like playing chess. You just can't go and rush. You got to be strategic. And because I'm there to be strategic for that company, because I'm there to help them to better themselves, to understand EQ, that's right, emotional intelligence, the most important skill for any organization, because you have to have emotionally intelligent leaders to move forward. And your teams need to be self-aware. So when those are areas that are lacking, they bring in Marcus A. Wright. And when he comes, he brings the Wright mentality. And what does that mean? I'm going to remind you again. The Wright mentality is to have the courage of a lion and the resilience of an eagle. You see, all companies want to make sure and ensure that they're doing the best for their employees so that their employees can help them make the most money that they possibly can. But in some cases, we have environments that are tough. And what I do and what companies ask me to do is to come right in and solve that problem. Look at the situation, assess it, and give us the best plan of attack. And more than likely, it will definitely surround emotional intelligence, adaptability intelligence, and understanding your team's personality. When you take those three things and you combine them and you put it together, there's nothing your company can't do. It's just like I was taught as a kid. You can do anything you want to do as long as you put your mind to it. You take those three things and you help those people in your company to think that way, to solve that problem. You got a force because you got 15, 20, 30, 40, 100, 200 people working toward the same goal. That's why people bring me into their companies, because I help them solve their problem using adaptability, emotional intelligence, and personality. Thank you for your time. Hey, look, let me tell you about this. The making of an entrepreneur. Man, I have been working with the most phenomenal team I've worked with. That's right, media expertise. Let me tell you about this team. This team takes a lot of time to make sure that you are covered correctly in the DocuSeries, that your photos are on point. And you know what else they do? They make you feel at home. They make you feel like you're not filming. They make you feel like you're just a part of their team. They're funny. They want to give you the best of them so they can get the best of you. They want to make you feel like you family. They want to make you feel like you're a part of them. So when you come in, it's going to be the most fun and wonderful experience that you will have. Media expertise, all of them. That's right. They're an expert in what they do. They make you feel pleasant so that they can bring the best in you out in the making of an entrepreneur DocuSeries. So this is what I would tell you. You need to get down here. You need to reach out. You need to talk to Shay Brown and his team. You need to let him know, man, I heard about this experience that Marcus A. Wright talked about, and I got to have it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, this team makes you feel at home. They make you feel wonderful, and they're going to help you bring the best of you out. What more could you ask for when you're going to be filmed or you're going to take photos? So get down here, reach out to Shay Brown. His team is phenomenal. I had a fantastic experience. And I thank each and every one of them for their time, but I also thank them for making me feel at home. Because as I told my story, it was not easy for me, but they helped me believe that I could tell it. What more could you ask for from an organization? Thank you, Media Expertise.
It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, and I just want to talk to all my entrepreneurs out there. And if that's you, like you, the entrepreneur, you, the business owner, you, the speaker, you, the coach, you, the author, you, the network marketer, you, the person that just want to do more good in the world by solving a problem, and you want to be paid, right? And so think about right now, if you had more high qualified paying clients that was like banging at your door, how would your life be different? When there's more revenue coming in and you're able to hire more people and you're able to make a bigger difference, what would that look like? Or number two, maybe there's folks that are coming in right now and they're knocking at your door, boom, 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 boom. But the only challenge you have is you're listening. Listen very closely, because this might be you, so listen very carefully. They're not converting fast enough, which means they're talking, they like you, there's conversation going on, but they're not converting. So there's two challenges, right? Number one, I need to attract my ideal client to me who can pay me. And number two, once they get in here, I need to have a system, a sales model, or a process so they convert faster. That means they pay you and then they come back. And if you're listening right now, you're saying, Shay, I want to be able to do that, but I don't want my labor involved. I don't want to work any harder. Shay, I'm at a place right now where I'm ready to reach more people. I'm on a mission, Shay, and I want you to listen very carefully. You were called to serve a group of folks out there, and you can't serve them right now because you don't have the revenue to purchase the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision. If that's you as you're listening, any of that resonates with you, I'm gonna give you a website, which is Easy Sales Hub. Again, easysaleshub.com. Let me just spell it. I know you can see it below, but it's EASY, sales, SALES, hub.com. Now, the reason you want to go over to easysaleshub.com is that that's the place you can come to and you can do two things. One, we'll do a sales audit. So we'll take a look at your sales process, your sales funnels, and we'll see how those are converting. Number two, you can have the tools and resources you need to be able to generate more revenue with less effort so you can serve more folks. So with that being said, as you're watching, go over to www.easysaleshub.com. My name is Shay Brown. Make it a great day, everyone, and we'll make some good things out. We connect again next time. God bless.